Innovating through agriculture, ahead on NTV's Grow, how the University of Nebraska has transformed the old State Fair Park.
It's a tough time, let's put it that way.
Below break even, farmers say they're getting paid less for their corn than what it costs to grow it. Harvest is underway, more coming up. Plus, Congressman Adrian calls it a victory for farmers against government overreach. More on a court's Waters of the U.S. ruling. Plus, we meet our Farm Youth of the Month straight ahead on NTV's Grow. As agriculture goes, so goes Nebraska. And there's a very real possibility many Nebraska farmers won't be making any money this year. That's our top story. Harvest is the payoff for the effort it takes to grow a crop.
It's a fun time, but it's a lot of hard work.
You just know that you've hopefully had a successful year put behind you.
This year, that payoff may be below break even. John Dvorak says the local elevator's paying $3.50 for corn that cost $4 a bushel to raise.
That's well below production cost. I mean, it's a tough time, let's put it that way. And it's showing. Everybody's pulling back on what they're spending money on.
Fertilizer, seed, taxes, rent. The expenses seem to keep going up, but market forces are holding grain prices down. Dvorak says some may be forced to give up the farm. And sales of big-ticket items like tractors and combines are way down, and that ripples throughout the Nebraska economy.
If it's turning over 7 times, that's regenerating a lot of economic activity within the community. And if they don't have them dollars, you know that 7 times turnover of the money, it's just not there.
Dvorak says it could be worse without the demand from 3 nearby ethanol plants.
I think you see at least a quarter to probably even a 35 cent premium just because of the ethanol plants.
Dvorak farms with Tim Scheer, past chair of the Nebraska Corn Board.
It's not looking the brightest this fall, but hopefully things will turn around for next year. And you know, we're always the eternal optimists, so hopefully next year it's good prices and good crops both. So harvest reveals the land is helping out farmers. Yields seem to be helping that bottom line. What's going into bins so far is helping many farmers break even and in some cases augur in some profit.
It is bringing down their break even, so it's actually turning out to be a little better than people thought it's going to be. If we can get a little bump in the prices, overall, may not be a great year by no means, but at least we can live to fight another year.
Harvest is behind average, but picking up. The most recent USDA report says corn harvest was about 26% finished, ahead of last year, but behind average. The report says soybeans are about 60% harvested, just about average pace. Winter wheat planted was 93%, right on schedule. Implement dealers hit hard this year. Big declines in sales of tractors and combines. The Association of Equipment Manufacturers reports the more than 16,500 tractors sold nationwide in September represents a 12.5% drop from the same month a year ago. Sales of combines are doing even worse, with an almost 20% drop last month. And that's contributed to the loss of another 30 jobs in Grand Island. Chief Industries plans to eliminate 30 positions at its fabrication plant. The company's CEO tells NTV most of their customers are in agriculture. They make parts for companies like Case IH. The company says it will try to help employees find jobs in other divisions of Chief Industries if possible. The waters of the U.S. rule on hold here in Nebraska and across the country. In case you missed it, in a 2-to-1 ruling, a federal appeals court recently blocked the Obama administration rule that attempts to clarify which small streams, wetlands, and other waterways the government can shield from pollution and development. The regulations now on hold nationwide. Here's reaction from Congressman Adrian.
Well, clearly the EPA is overstepping, and I'm glad that now 2 different court decisions have basically said that this is not the right direction, or at least setting up a delay. I have introduced the resolution of disapproval on the House side, and Senator Ernst from Iowa has introduced it over on the Senate side. We've got good, strong lists of co-sponsorships, bipartisan on the House side. I think only Republicans on the Senate side so far, but I think there would be some Democratic senators whether it's North Dakota, Indiana, and some others, support pushing back on this because they know it's bad for agriculture. It's unintended by Congress, clearly unintended by Congress, and it's certainly an overreach by the executive branch of government.
Developing trade relationships could mean more money for Nebraska agriculture. Nebraska Department of Ag Director Greg Ibaugh talked to us from Germany, where he was at one of the world's largest food trade shows. While Europe is smaller than the Japanese market, he explains this is a growing market with opportunity for Nebraska products, especially beef. In Bulgaria, there's a chance to open up a whole new market.
Looking at a new market that hasn't really had any real volume of exports from Nebraska. We have a federal grant that we applied for and received, and we'll use that to try to open up a new market that would be able to purchase products from Nebraska's farmers and ranchers.
Transforming the former State Fair Park, Megan Johnson has a look inside the Nebraska Innovation Campus.
You see the very corner of what was the Industrial Arts Building.
A few historical aspects are preserved, but the former State Fairgrounds in Lincoln is now Phase 1 of Nebraska Innovation Campus.
We got 380,000 square feet out of the ground. We got 250 people working here. We just announced a company that's going to bring a bunch more.
Director Dan Duncan says the name may be familiar, but not everyone understands the public-private partnerships developing there, bringing university teachers, researchers, and students in to learn and work alongside companies.
Take the private sector members, immerse them a little bit into the university culture, and take the university faculty members and immerse them a little bit into the corporate culture. And then in that nexus is where we think really fun things will happen.
Traditional woodworking in here.
Plans for the NIC stretch over 25 years, but starting things off is Innovation Commons, where art and engineering space meet, as well as the Food Innovation Center, where companies like ConAgra, Cargill, and Kellogg's will work with UNO programs. And the Greenhouse Innovation Center, the home of technology measuring crops for advanced plant sciences.
A lot of that focused around the food, fuel, and water arenas that are so important to Nebraska, and partnerships in the food space, especially in the greenhouse plant science space, and in the Water for Food Institute that is also located here on the campus. Our goal is to move technology faster, as well as move our students to those industries faster.
Officials say more buildings will be going up, and NIC will house new areas such as technology and software development.
You can't recruit companies to bare ground. You have to have a building or some type of facilities to put them in.
Duncan says they hope to start on the next 80,000 square feet in the spring. In Lincoln, Megan Johnson, NTV News.
A multi-million-dollar agricultural project gets the okay from the Grand Island City Council. NTV's Megan Johnson has more on a proposed chicken hatchery.
The Grand Island City Council okayed giving tax increment financing to the Holland-based company wanting to build a chicken hatchery here at their meeting Tuesday night. And Wednesday afternoon, the contract was in the hands of the Community Redevelopment Authority, awaiting their final approval.
Shortly with his next.
A short discussion and quick 4-0 vote by the Community Redevelopment Authority approves $2.6 million worth of tax increment financing for Hatchery Holdings.
What we did today really does solidify the incentive package that was offered to bring them in, and makes it very clear that if they choose us, here's what we're willing to do.
It's a $20 million proposed facility to be located in 20 acres of the 260-acre parcel called Platte Valley Industrial Park East, just south of GI. 24 million chicks would hatch each year, creating around 50 jobs. But it's still a maybe, as parent company Hendricks ESA is still undecided on where to build.
They have to decide where it's best for them to land. We're hoping they choose Grand Island.
Officials say the tax increment financing is a big incentive, and there was short turnaround, as in just over a month, the application went from the CRA through the Regional Planning Commission, then past City Council, and back into the authority's hands.
They really wanted to start turning dirt on October 15th. We were able to make that work for them, but they still haven't decided for sure where they want to locate. We're one of at least 2 sites that they are seriously considering.
The The regional planning director says it's not unusual to approve TIF money before a project is completely certain to happen. Doing so opens the door for work to get started as soon as ground is broken. Now, economic development officials haven't been able to comment much on this project due to confidentiality agreements with the Hatchery company, but a decision on whether or not to locate in Grand Island is expected yet this year.
Up next, we talk with Congressman Adrian about that proposed Asian trade deal. Stay with us.